Okay, cool. So, day -1, tomorrow is day 0. I have 2 cadets here with me. Our class leader, name and school.
Washington State University, Julian Tagupa.
I'm Alex Ariza from Virginia Tech.
Cadet Eduardo Hure, FIU. 2 things that I learned yesterday, day -2, which is, these are not real days. There's no layout format, so roommate heard that from someone in the hotel lobby who's on a higher or more ahead phase than us. But we get weekends off. That blew my mind. I know some of the other schools, it's like straight through. I think at Benning, it's straight through. And also that we're in hotels. I knew we were going to get hotels, but I learned that some of the other schools are in barracks. That we're getting a bus to take us there and back. Figured that one out today because nobody knew how we were going to get there because it's on the other side of the base. The big thing about today was that the Black Hats came by. We had 4 come to our hotel. We were all dressed like this in civvies. And they did an unofficial layout with us. So that was helpful because they did not have to do that. They told us that we don't need our paperwork. So that was big. We need our shoes and our belt. And we don't need PTs in the ruck. The beret, as a cadet, can have the Leadership Excellence crest, the school crest, or the cadet second lieutenant rank. The IOTV, as cadets, we don't need our name tape and our rank, but I put it on. They said bring it if you have it. Did you guys put it?
Yeah.
Since tomorrow's day 0, what obstacles do you have most in mind? Just a refresher, 2 major ones is the tough one and the confidence climb, right? That's the majors? Okay. And the minors are the 6 vaults, the low belly over, the inclining wall, the swing stop jump, the low crawl, the high step over, and the weaver.
Definitely confidence climb. It's one I haven't been able to practice.
The ladder?
So, yeah. I haven't been able to do that one, so.
I'd say the Weaver. I mean, I did the Weaver at camp, but just because by then you're already like tired after you get smoked.
The rope, I mean, I'm pretty good with the rope. You guys are too. I saw you do it today.
Yeah.
I don't even know how the confidence climb made it to be a major one.
We're scared of heights.
Yeah.
Yeah. I say the tough one. I mean, I'm good with the rope, but it's the part afterwards how you're stepping from log to log. Even though that's easy, it's just walking. I mean, one slip up.
It's a little nerve-wracking.
Yeah, and you got the mats below you.
It's
It's May right now for us, and someone told me that the week's outlook of weather is rain the entire time. So
Basically every day.
it's better than hot. We could have been here next month. How you feeling
So,
about tomorrow?
I'm excited.
Just
So,
want to get it over with. I guess as class leader, you have a lot more responsibility. But if you do end up being a class leader, you just gotta get it done.
for class leader, did they just shoot you a text saying, like, you're the leader for this?
They
or-
called me up
Okay.
about last Wednesday.
You're home.
Yeah, I was at home taking a nap. Got a phone call. Hey, you're class leader next week.
Platoon overlord.
Yeah, and then make sure to pick squad leaders, delegate to squad leaders.
First squad leader.
Because it's impossible, not impossible, but it'll make life easier if you're just in charge of 4 people
Not 40.
yeah, instead of
And
40.
prepare to be asked the same question, like, over and over and answer.
Make squad group chats.
Yeah, we have a group chat for the whole 40 of us, and then we have our squad chats and our leaders chat. And people are going to be asking. We brought our flags. So he brought his, and his was just draped over a chair. I
Yeah.
bring my flag everywhere. So you should have brought like a Philippines or Washington
I
flag or
should've, yeah,
something. That would have been
something.
cool. That's my deployment flag. And then I just taped them up.
Yeah, there's another guy from my school going, so we can take a picture after, hopefully when we graduate.
I'm the only person here from Florida. You're the only one from Washington, right?
There's 2 of us.
All right, we'll see you tomorrow. All right, morning, everyone.
Hello.
Day 0, currently 4:41 a.m. Motivated to get this obstacle course in this 2-mile run.
Oh, yeah.
Let's get it, baby.
Let's do it.
Day 0, just got back from it. We're all smoked, right? Cool. All right. Name and school. Starting here.
Emily Rivero, University of Wisconsin, Oshkosh.
Julian Tagupa, Washington State University.
Dewey Wynn, Oklahoma State University.
Keith Nickus, Wright State University.
Roommate.
Alex Ariza, Virginia Tech.
Oh, that's my roommate. All right. So, what are some things that stood out to you guys about the name call out this morning? We got there at 5,
sat
stood
around
there
for
for
an
an
hour.
hour in the parking lot, and it started at 6.
It's not in alphabetical order, so don't listen for that. Listen for the number, because the number will come before the name.
Make sure you yell aerosol when they call you aerosol.
Just yell aerosol if you
Just-
think that you need to say anything. Just say aerosol.
Yeah. The 2-mile run, what were your thoughts on that?
It was a 2-mile run.
Not bad.
I thought it was a little harder for me because I've never ran a uniform.
Yeah.
I was going to ask you, did that change something for you guys, the uniform?
It did.
I was sweating and then like my sweat just like way down. Like it just way. I felt like I was way down. I don't know. I usually don't run in long sleeves either, so it's like
Did you guys feel like the basic incline, the little incline, did it affect you guys or not
I
really?
didn't really even realize there was
In the big,
Incline?
out the
Coming back-
gates to the
coming
left,
back
we were
was
going down.
incline.
Coming back, we were going up.
Oh,
I
really?
felt
Did you guys realize?
I felt the
No.
incline, but
Right.
it was
Well, good, because that's the ruck route, so remember that. And the obstacle course.
Honestly, like, if you train for what like the obstacles entail, you'll be fine. Short people, you're gonna struggle with the low belly over. Like on the high step, I fell and hit my head on the other rail, and then landed on the ground, and then everyone clapped for me. It was kind of embarrassing.
Nice.
But it was really
That was
high.
funny.
Like it was super
You really
high
did.
for me. I'm 5'3", so for short people, just be ready to hate your life.
In my group, a lot of people failed the swing stop jump. They just
Yeah.
took our number, and then we went again. So they didn't like count it against us.
Yeah.
You guys too?
Yeah,
I spent a lot of time.
it was starting to diminish our numbers pretty quick.
Oh yeah, so just to explain it, how many groups were we broken into? We formed up, like all 300 of us, into how many ranks? I think you said 10 squads, 30 man front.
Yeah.
We got smoked for like 30 minutes. That was very like underwhelming.
Not even 30 minutes.
I don't know if it was
Maybe
30
20.
minutes.
20 minutes?
And it really
I had a
wasn't
lot
that
of
bad
fun.
of a smoke session.
Yeah,
either.
It wasn't. What did we do? We did push-ups, mountain climbers, Y squats, half jacks, overhead arm clap.
Also, you can like
Squat
BS
bender.
your way through the smoke
Yeah.
sesh. Like I started looking, and there were like very physically fit males that were like on their knees doing push-ups,
Oh, I was
and like
BSing through
Yeah.
that.
yeah, and like they're gonna yell at you.
Yeah.
Like the black hats are gonna be like, get off your knees,
I was
but
on the
like
edge, they could
they
see me.
can't. Like if you're just trying.
It's not my first.
Worry
You're
about
fine.
self-preservation.
Yeah.
You got to make sure that you yourself are still able to do the obstacle course even after being
Right.
smoked.
You got nothing to prove to anyone. It's not smoking is not a failable event because you're gonna do it every day. So if you were trying to get that workout, that's different, but that's not what we're here for. So focus on the task, which is the obstacle course that you're about to get to. So after that, we all broke up into different groups. Which one did you guys go to first? Mine went straight to Weaver.
I went to the belly over.
Low belly over. Yeah.
I believe him and I went to the tough one first.
Tough one.
I was alone.
It's, if
Yeah,
you're
right.
lucky, like you'll start out with the tough one because like you gotta climb that rope. But if you're not, and like just preserve your energy, or else you'll be smoked. If you can't climb a rope, like and you're already smoked, you're pretty much screwed.
The tough one was a lot less hard than
It's
I
not
thought it
that
would be.
Mm-hmm.
I was up the rope in like 5 seconds.
Yeah.
The main thing that was on my mind was when you're doing the steps across, like if you fall between that, you're kind of done.
But what I always do is I shift over, so because there's a pillar going underneath of them, so I shift over, so I'm walking basically on top of that pillar in case if my foot slips, there's a pillar right there to catch me.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna
I was
actually
doing
fall.
that. I was
Yeah.
doing that. The horizontal
Yeah.
ones. Yeah.
Also, on the like the swing stop jump, like I honestly almost got a no-go on that. But like it's if you're vertical, like don't step all the way back. Like don't pull the ropes all the way back. Like kind of pull it all the way and just start run up. Don't.
Yeah.
Cause like the first
Far
time I went, I pulled all the way back and I got a no-go because I like couldn't get my foot up there. And then the second time, like I just instead of going all the way back, I like did like halfway.
Yeah, I went too
So-
hard, and then I ended up like sitting on the bar, so I had to go
Yeah.
again,
I
and
ended
then
up
I got it.
spinning. I just
You spun?
landed and started spinning and had to correct myself.
Did any of you guys have to like push off?
I pushed off.
I pushed
How'd
off
that
a
go
few
for you?
times.
Because that
I did
looked.
push
The
off.
second time I didn't.
I did not have a hard time with that one at all.
Yeah, I think you and I went at the same
We
time.
did.
Yeah, we both did the same thing. I mean, we
Oh,
got our feet on
I-
there, but then we had to pull ourselves
Right,
down.
so what I did, like, again, I'm short, like, held the rope back, ran with the rope in my hand, and then kind of, like, pull, and then you kind of, like, get your feet up there, and then you're, like, this way, and then you kind of, like, walk your hands up the rope, and it's not that
Did
bad.
any of you guys like land your feet and then pull the rope behind you to like bring yourself
yeah,
up?
Yeah,
I did.
That's-
I did.
That's
Yeah.
what we did.
Yeah.
Also, another thing, like the low crawl, like we were getting no goes on that. It's like how, but like I think it's just it might just be like a Salwoski thing where like they're just super strict on that.
The only thing that would get you would be tapping the wire, right?
No, well, apparently a guy he was crawling like, but then he like when he was raising his foot to push up, he like it was way too high, and so his
On the low
silhouette-
crawl?
Yeah,
You have to do the low crawl like you're on
like
MTs.
like if any like my best advice is
Well,
put your face on
Not
the dirt.
necessarily.
On the dirt.
I didn't put my face on the dirt,
I didn't either.
but by the time my group got to it, the dirt was so dug in
Yeah.
to where I was even lower than the first group
Mhm.
because the dirt was flat, and then by the time we got to it, it was much lower.
Ours
That's
was
a good
still,
point.
like-
I was the last group to go through the low crawl, and towards the end it was actually higher.
Yeah.
In the beginning, there was
Yeah.
like no chance we were going to touch the rope, and the only person watching us was the chaplain. So not a black hat. The
It just
chaplain.
depends on who's watching.
Yeah. And no one messed it up anyways. I don't know unless you dig straight down.
High step over is definitely the hardest for me, though. I'm not gonna lie. fine.
Yeah,
The high
we
step
are
over?
short.
I fell twice, but I didn't like hit the ground. I didn't fall on the ground, so they let me stay.
It was like you can't take your hands off your head. So like as long as you don't do that, you can do whatever you want. And like it was bad.
What are the 3 rest positions? Say it together. Parade rest, drinking water, or the friendly rest position. And figure it out or they'll figure it out for you. Well, how did you guys feel about the confidence climb?
Not bad.
It wasn't bad, but like I do like I'm not scared of heights or anything,
Yeah.
but like
It was definitely like hard to
Almost
keep a
slipped.
3. Yeah, dude. At
I
one
did
point
not
was like
like 3
That-
points of
that-
contact. I jumped at one point.
Me
I didn't have
too.
points of
At one
contact,
point,
so.
I had my hands on, like I jumped up and then I had to move both of my feet up, and that kind of goes out the window because I think that like unless
On the way down, you definitely have to like let go and drop to the next
You have to
beam.
like
So
sit
there's no way you can
and then
do
get
3
on your
points.
stomach and then reach down and then sit and just
Yeah.
repeat the
So,
process.
especially with the 2 top ones, you have to basically. What I did is I'm somewhat scared of heights. What I did, I looked at the beam above me and just focused on getting to that and getting my arms and then my at least upper body around it. Then my legs will follow.
True.
So, but if I were to have looked down and paid attention to what was below me, I probably would have freaked out.
Also, hang on to the vertical beams. Those are super helpful because you can
Oh,
like
yeah.
fully wrap your arms around
And you
those
can use it.
and like bear hug them.
I'm tall, so honestly, like I flew through that one. But I mean, I did notice the difference as you go higher. They're more spaced out. Your Weaver experience.
Stabilize your feet before you stabilize your hands because it's a lot easier to move your upper body when your lower body's secure. Because I saw a lot of people try to do it the other way, and then they were like muscling their legs
I didn't even
with
think
their
of
upper
it,
body.
but that's exactly what I did. How was the incline wall?
Yeah, the tough one, he was like, all right, here. So I was like, oh, shit. So I ran over there, jumped, and tried to pull myself up, but I was too tired, so I just hung there. And he was like, swing your legs over, and I was like, oh, you're right, and I just swung my legs over.
Yeah,
Right.
you gotta swing. If you go up and just basically do like a muscle up, you're gonna be too high, and they'll probably call you on it. But you have to swing your legs. I was very lucky that I swung my leg as fast as I did, or else I probably wouldn't have made it.
So I was smoked, so I did my first time, couldn't get my feet over, so he took my roster name, and then like he was like, alright, just drink water for a little bit, and then came back like 6 minutes later, just came over.
So they counted it?
You could also
Yeah, they
walk
counted
up
it.
the wall too. Like you don't have to swing your legs over. You can like use your legs.
I
Like,
hook
you
it.
You can. Well, right, but like I'm saying, like when you're hanging, you can like straight up walk your legs up the
Yeah.
wall.
Right after the thing, we ran straight to eat MREs, right?
Yeah.
I was the first group back, so I had like probably a whole hour just to sit on my rug.
Yeah, then
you came after,
We had, like-
and then from there we went into the classroom.
Everyone kept talking, so
Just-
they made us run back outside.
Right. Just do what you're told, and then they won't like
Yeah.
it, and then you have to do like something all over again.
It's part of the
We
game.
ran
It's
outside.
like-
We ran all the way across the
You
field.
have to do a lot of BS. Like it's not that bad.
It's just
You're
part of
gonna
the game.
It's
You're-
really not
yeah,
that
You're gonna
bad.
get smoked regardless. You can't win. You literally cannot win. You're gonna, you got Private Joey over there who can't keep his freaking mouth shut. Like you're not gonna win.
They were just talking about cadets. They're like, "What are those dot ranks?"
Yeah.
And then like his buddy was like, "Oh, that's a cadet."
I had 3 NCO call me sir today. I had a staff sergeant call me sir, a sergeant first class call me sir.
What time did we get released today? 1500. Waited for the bus for like 10 minutes, and now we're back. So you guys feel sore? You feel like
I
good?
feel fine now, but doesn't
I just
even if
feel
I were to lay
tired.
down for a
I'm
little
like
bit, I'll wake back up.
All right.
That's it.
That's it for day 0. We'll see you at day 1. Just got back from day 1. Didn't lose any cadets. Name and school go.
Walker Smith, Georgia Southern.
We know you, but go do it again.
Alex Ariza, Virginia Tech.
Julian Tagupa, Washington State University.
All right. So today, first thing we did when we got there was the layout.
I feel that before I was fine and during still fine, but I grabbed somebody else's pants that I wore today.
Can you hold them up?
I don't know whose pants they are. They were just in my ruck and I changed this morning.
Oh.
I actually got really scared because my socks got stuck in my IOTV and I didn't realize. So they told us to hold up our socks and I couldn't find them. So I was digging through everything, digging through my ruck. I knew I packed them, but I couldn't find them. And then eventually I shook my IOTV and they fell out. So that was the scariest part. But other than that, I was fine.
Nice. Class leader overlord.
I was fine before and after.
I was good. I was good. I mean, I didn't. I had everything, like all the little stuff, like the headlamp, the notebook, everything is in one bag. So that was pretty good. None of the cadets got dropped, but we did have like 20 people drop. I saw like
Was it
two.
that many?
I saw like 2 squads worth facing the wall.
Oh, I only saw like 5 people, but I was listening back.
All right. Then we did the Aeromed PT. Thoughts on that?
How was my thoughts on Aeromed PT? when we were doing the rower, I could not sit up. I was like, and my
Oh
helmet.
yeah, we did it with our IBA and our helmet.
I had so much fun. I'm not gonna lie.
You had fun?
I don't know.
I mean, I had fun too, but
I
like,
had fun too because I was with next to Dale crawling, and we were making jokes the entire time.
I-
what
It's not a big
exercises
deal.
did we do? So we did we low crawled across a huge field, and then on the way back we did lunges, and then on the way back we did fireman carry for buddies, and then high crawl back. We did lunch, and then we came back. We learned just identifying aircrafts, even ones that are not in the Army, like Navy, the Osprey, the Sea Stallion, the Sea Knight. And we got our aerosol handbook today. So now this is an inspectable item. Thoughts on the classes? I felt like it was kind of fire hosed. Like,
I took more notes than I did ever in my first
ever, like in college?
I enjoyed that more than any lecture I had last semester.
Oh yeah, it
I'm
was
not
very
gonna lie.
interesting because it's all the military stuff and
Yeah. I didn't feel like it was that bad, the notes, and also I like how they told us like what exactly will be on the test and what's just on the PowerPoint, but don't worry about it. Like that second lecture we got about
Yeah.
the aeromedical stuff, he was like, oh, you only got to worry about this and this and this and this. This you don't need to know, but just fun fact. We're just going to study that Quizlet because we have our phase 1 test on Friday. Today is Wednesday. Then we ran outside halfway across the same field and we did hand and arm signals. So we did our hand and arm signals. There's 10 hand and arm signals. And then we played Black Hat Says, which is like Simon Says. They do the hand signal, and then if they don't say Black Hat Says, then you're out. And we did Last Man Standing. And then the last group that had someone standing did not have to do workouts.
he said guide on go. Then we came back and he was like, oh, you guys like having your aerosol handbooks on your rucks and not having to secure? He said, all right, that's fine. Guide on go.
Guide on go. Guide on go means fastest person in the whole company takes the guide on, runs halfway across the field, then we have to catch him, which we never do. Well, you were the guide on.
Yeah, I caught the guide on.
So for the arm signals, how do you guys feel? Like you're gonna do fine on that test?
Yeah,
Just gotta
it's
memorize.
so easy.
There's a lot.
It is
that are,
easy.
like,
And then we had our final smoke session of the day, which I honestly think was more like rough than the Aeromed PT.
I would watch.
It was
I
100%.
was sweating a lot more after that.
Yeah, and we're in a brand new uniform too. But I just remember the Y squat with the rucks over our head because that was a little
Yeah,
traumatizing.
they were like, hold your ruck up. Yeah.
Hold your ruck above your head since y'all wanna. I don't know what we did wrong. Probably
Somebody
not.
sucked their teeth at one of the instructors.
Oh yeah, so they said guide on
definitely
go.
wasn't
We
us.
ran halfway across the field and then we came back and they're like, listen, if a black hat says something, you only respond with the aerosol. So since you guys want to do that, hold your rucks, pick them up, put them above your head right now, not sitting on your head, all the way up. And then we did that, and then the Y squat.
We did about what, 30?
We got to like 30 count, and then all right, put them down, and people just slammed it on the ground. Oh, we don't throw our rucks.
No,
The
you don't.
Y squat, pick up your rucks, and we did it
That's
again.
crazy.
They said, you want to throw down your rucks? That's fine.
Too easy.
Pick it up.
So then we put on our rucks. They told us to put on our rucks, and they put out all the hit times for tomorrow. So we were like, oh, we're done for the day. And then guide on go. So we ran all the way around the field again,
twice.
and then a lot of us were walking because that was the first time they made us run that route with the ruck. So then they were like, why are you walking? So we went around again, and people were walking even more, but that was it. Then we did our 5s and dimes, which is our 5 pull-ups and our 10 push-ups. That's the
So I have my phone, but I can't like get it out while we're getting smoked. And be like, hey, can we like get a bus here, please? Thanks.
On your ruck.
So I did it like while everyone's doing the 5 and dimes. I was like towards the end. I think it was the last one. I was like, hey, can we get a bus? She's like, yeah, we're doing 30. I'm like, damn.
A study, go to bed early. So what do we have to do tomorrow?
Yeah,
Tomorrow we have a
well,
formation at 0415 because we're doing our 6-mile ruck with a rubber duck rifle. Thoughts on that?
Never rucked with a rifle, so I'm not worried about it though.
Have you rucked? You're prior, so you rucked with a rifle.
Is it time?
Is it time? Hour and
Like
30.
an hour 30.
Oh, that's fine.
The same as the 12 miles in 3 hours, cut in half. That was it for day 1. We'll see you at day 2 after the 6-mile ruck. Day 2, just got back from it this morning. What time did we arrive there? Formation was 4:15. Okay, I forgot.
It's too early.
We did the 6-mile ruck this morning. We're still 40 out of 40 cadets. Name and school, go.
Me?
Alright.
Yeah.
You?
Yes.
Me?
You, Smith.
Oh, I'm Walker Smith from Georgia Southern.
I'm Cadet Rush from Gateway Battalion at St. Louis University.
Alex Ariza, Virginia Tech.
Levi Bowman from Western Kentucky University.
Cool. So, these were my 2 buddies on the ruck this morning all the way through until we lost Smith in the last like half
Now
mile.
finish that crap though.
I didn't know you were gone until you were gone. Like I turned around to tell you to run again, and
You
then,
told me to run, I was like, nah, dude.
and then I looked back. I'm like, where? He's like, where's Smith? I'm like, he's right. Oh, okay.
I got like scared for a minute.
He'll make it. I did get scared.
Yeah, I thought.
On the other hand, Out of all, what is it? There's 246 of us left out of 317. Fastest ruck time right here, 54 minutes out of the entire class. So we got the go. He took the guide on.
That hill sucked.
I started at the very front of the whole formation, so I didn't have to pass anyone, which made it a lot easier.
Yeah, once we got past the hill, I saw a group of 4 people with the guide on, and
that
you
was
were there.
us.
You're the first ones from the tournament.
But I caught up to the guide on right at the first checkpoint. Kind of, that group of 4 formed right at that first checkpoint. We ran together the entire way. And it wasn't until coming back and hitting that big hill when the guide on started walking, so I took it.
Nice.
And it was just me, one other cadet, I don't remember what his name was, and then a captain that was ranger tabbed.
Nice. Did the first guide on like stay with you, like in the group, or
he dropped back?
So he just, how did that interaction go? Like he just handed
disappeared.
off.
He didn't say anything. He just handed it off and disappeared.
Nice.
Me and the captain finished together, 55 minutes or 54 minutes or something like that.
And then when you guys crossed, like, what did they tell you? I'm sure they hyped you up.
They're like, "Damn, that was fast."
Yeah.
And then they said, "Cadets lead the way."
Heck yeah, they did. Can't spell loss of that. All right. Yeah. What about you two?
Yeah, they've been complimenting.
Yeah.
In the beginning, so I don't know about you. I mean, you sound like you just ran the whole time, but I do 30-60s. Every run interval in the beginning, you were like out of hell. Like you were moving,
Booking it.
you were booking it, and I was keeping up with you, and it was on my watch.
You walk too fast, man. I got these little legs.
Yeah, I said that. I briefed you. I'm like, look, I walk fast, so I don't have to run as much. And then when we ran, you were like, this is my time. This is my time to shine. But how'd that feel? How'd you guys feel keeping up with me? Or
The hill sucked.
yeah, the hill sucked for everybody. It was all flat. There was one major hill and then one like half major hill.
It wasn't that bad.
Straight down. Well, 54 minutes. Straight down and then straight up. It wasn't that bad really. I felt bad like in the moment, but then once I got up 30 seconds later.
Overall, it was pretty good. I ran into these two because my ruck broke after
that's right.
quarter mile.
We stopped to fix his ruck like fully stopped like 4 times.
Yeah,
to fix the top corner straps.
Helped me, and then I ran with them the whole way.
Yeah, we came in 8 minutes left, and then you came in with like 6 minutes left. Ariza, what was your time?
It's like 1:16. So
1:16. Okay, that was pretty good.
36 minutes left.
That's crazy.
what'd you do with your time?
Took a nap.
Stood there and just watched for people coming in.
While you
Called
like,
the
played
bus.
with the guide on,
Go back there.
just caressed the guide on.
Yep.
Then we got back, got smoked, left to breakfast. Oh, layout. That's right. So
Layout was pretty easy.
you guys had
Yeah,
any
it's
minor
just
heart
usual
attacks?
inspection.
No one got
Nothing
dropped this
special.
time.
One person almost did.
Okay. Oh yeah, I saw him go up and
Yeah, so he had incorrect gloves, but the first layout, one of the aerosol sergeants told him that those gloves were okay, and so he went and peeled it and won.
Nice. I did see
Always
that
a
happen.
peel.
I didn't know
Always
what was
a
going
peel.
on. And they didn't check for batteries today.
I know, I noticed that.
Okay, so they didn't check for batteries.
Moment on the layout when he asked for PT shoes and everyone
Oh
just
my
like-
God, that's right. He said
everyone's hearts dropped all together.
he said dog tags, casualty feeder card, aerosol handbook, and PT shoes. Execute.
Everyone's like, aerosol?
Question mark? Nah, I'm just kidding. And heart dropped. Everyone started.
That got me.
It got me. I felt my whole stomach.
I was like, shit.
Yeah, time to go home.
Yeah.
But he's like, nah, I'm just kidding, because they tell us not to bring any PT gear except for the PT belt.
Yeah.
And then
Class.
class.
I worked in the last 2 hours. The first 2 hours, or 2.5 hours, nothing learned.
Were you guys super tired?
Yes.
Was that an effect?
I was about to fall asleep the whole time.
I low-key
I won't even lie.
like dozed off at one point, and I think one of them saw me. So I like closed my eyes for like a couple of seconds.
I was so scared.
I'm surprised we haven't gotten smoked for people falling asleep.
We will.
Well, I mean, I think you get dropped if you fall asleep, though.
Like
Or you just failed the test.
That's true.
That's facts. The books. How do you guys feel about the books? I think they're really good because it's the exact same thing that's on the screen,
Yeah.
word for word.
I think I'm not a good person with studying and reading just straight from a book though. I have to like.
So you like how we do the groups?
Make note cards or like group studying or stuff like that.
Okay. Yeah.
Or
so
like
we'll do
practical
Quincy.
exercises.
And then we had Mount Ruckmore. So like, we looked out the window randomly in the middle of class, and then there was just a huge mountain of more than half of the rucks in the middle of the area with the guidon sticking out of it. And then we went out for a 10-minute break.
funny.
Yeah. We went out for a 10-minute break, and everyone's like, do we take our ruck? I don't know. So this guy just took his ruck. and he put it back.
I wish it would have fell.
He put it back. Yeah, we were playing Jenga because we thought the guidon was going to come out, but it didn't.
Yeah, my run. I ran back because I saw the ruck pile and I was like, oh, let me check if mine's there, and it wasn't there. So I looked back at the pile and it's just resting on the edge. So I'm like, So I run over, I see that nothing's on top of it, so I just grab it, put it on, and ruck back. And then they didn't say anything.
Which,
I didn't get
because no one was there.
I think it's kind of funny though that the people who had their rucks that weren't in the pile got.
We got smoked worse.
Yeah, they got smoked worse.
Yeah, we did.
You guys had a bear crawl and do the jumps and everything.
Yeah, all.
No, so I came out and I saw the ruck pile and I started laughing and one of the instructors was like, "Hey, 635, what are you laughing at?" I was like, "Nothing, aerosol sergeant."
Who was it? It was someone. They said like they teach you how to smile out of tension in college.
There was a guy in front of me.
That was funny.
He goes, "They teach you to talk in college?" The guy said, "What, aerosol sergeant?"
Can you repeat aerosol sergeant? Right, and then we did
And just more classes.
more class, and then we went outside. I think we kind of went outside for no reason. We just
That was
learned.
the practical. I think they just wanted to get us out in the rain.
We just got quizzed on things we learned in class inside of a fake helicopter
In the rain.
in the rain. Yeah, it was pouring. We're soaking wet. Our rucks are soaking wet.
Yeah.
We smell great.
Made fun.
It was fun. So tomorrow, how do you guys feel about the phase 1 written test, 35 out of 50 questions, 70%, and the hand and arm signal test? You guys think you used
Need to
The
study.
test. I'm not worried about the test because if you fail this first one, you get a whole weekend to study and retake it on Monday.
That's very true.
So, I mean, obviously study, but
Is it the same for hand and arm?
I don't know about that one. That one's pretty easy though.
Yeah.
I think most people got that.
7
down.
out of 10, right?
Hand and arm, I'm confident.
Hand and arm signals is easy.
If you write down what they tell you to write down in class, it's right straight to the head.
That was day 2. We'll see you on day 3. Welcome back to Friday, May 12th, day 3 of Air Assault. Name, school, and age starting from here.
Rock Cadet One Boy, go to University of Delaware, and I'm 24 years old.
And I'm Levi Bowman. I'm from Western Kentucky University.
Cadet Geiger from University of Minnesota.
Sergeant Lopez from San Diego.
And the Air Force. Cool. Today, we only did like one thing, more or less. We did the phase 1 test.
So I was kind of nervous last night prepping for it. Didn't know how Army test was going to go, at least from the Air Force perspective, but after going through the test, it was pretty straightforward, really nothing too confusing, and during the test, felt pretty good, like the entire time. So
How'd you study?
I did the memorization.
Quizlet, the book?
No, I just did the book. Just like letters, like acronyms, like like random stuff, just like random little letters just to make it, just to memorize it. And that was honestly the best thing.
I was nervous going into it because it just seems like so much information and they went so quickly. But in the schoolhouse, at least some of the instructors, I'd say most of them, made sure to say what was going to be on the test, or if not, like what was very important. So I'd underline that. Like I'd highlight things I thought were important, and then I'd underline the things that he said would be on the test. And so that really helped a lot because I'd go through that, read all my underlined stuff, and made sure I knew that. And then the Quizlet, once you can get all 100 of that.
I would say I wasn't really nervous at all. This is my second Army school, and so I kind of know what to expect with how they make the test. Like pretty dummy proof if you just know what you're looking for. And they make it, the Quizlets and the study guides and everything, to make it, if you look over it, you should be fine.
So what I did is I studied the Quizlet, then I took the book, looked it over, and I just went to sleep.
Yeah, while my roommate and I were getting ready, we just took turns asking questions.
Yeah.
I mean, it was, at that point, it was just all review. And someone told me that went here from my school last year that when they call off names, sometimes it's the people that failed, sometimes the people that passed. So I already knew, looking around, because they called off all the names for us, the people that failed, and then they went outside, and they kind of played a trick on us, saying that, this is the largest people that have failed.
Yeah.
And then he's like, "Oh, I'm just kidding, you guys passed."
We had 40 cadets. Out of our 40, 3 of them didn't make it, so they have their retest on Monday. So we're going to help them study for that.
Oh, and just, we didn't do the hand and arm signals.
Oh, yeah,
Ever.
we did not do the hand and arm signal test.
They never mentioned them. They never.
They already said welcome to phase 2. So
They never said anything about it. We just didn't do them.
That's what one of the sergeants said. He said once you get to phase 2, he's like they lay off and they're a lot cooler. Yeah. Okay.
I think I kind of
I
realized
already
that.
noticed that today.
Mm-hmm. So did I.
I didn't get smoked at all.
After that, we came back, changed, whatever, And then we went into our first phase 2 classes. How did you guys feel about that material?
I think they don't present the information very well.
No, because
Everything was out of order. We were flipping through the books.
Yeah, that was terrible. Yeah, I didn't like
I mean,
that. That's exactly
They were
why
rushing
I
us,
didn't like.
writing stuff
There
down.
was a good amount of stuff that they told you that was going to be on the test. Because I think it seemed, I haven't really heard anything about the on-paper phase 2 test, so I don't think it's going to be super difficult if you, like, are ready for the hands-on portion. So, I mean, I've never really heard about anyone stressing over that.
No, I think it's the written test that people stress over.
I mean, I've heard the majority of people that get sent home here is from the cargo bag inspection, the A22.
Yeah.
Really?
So
That's what I've heard.
That's
too.
why when he started talking about it, he's like, all right,
Don't be
A22, the one you
scared.
guys are all scared of. Here we
I
go.
didn't hear that part.
But it didn't seem that complicated, honestly.
No, it
really
didn't.
didn't. I think the YouTube videos too. I don't know if you guys seen them, but
I've
those
seen them.
those are pretty helpful.
Part of it's just that there's a lot.
So yeah, we moved outside, and then they broke the whole class up into 2 groups. Half of us went to the A22 cargo bag, half of us went to the M1120 trailer. I think all of us here started on the cargo bag, right?
Yeah.
And when it came to memorizing the inspection sequence,
I'm gonna have to read through. It lays it out word for word in the book,
Mhm.
and that's just read through that and kind of memorize it. Watch YouTube videos.
Yeah.
We get a lot of time on Monday and Tuesday to practice.
Yeah.
So
And the way he did it, if you were listening to what he did, it was easier. Like the way he walked because it's just, you watch how he walks.
the walk around.
Yeah, the way he walked all the way around the stuff. It's just like he was trying to set it up, kind of, but it's already set up. So you're looking at, like, if you know how to set it up, then you know what's wrong, kind of.
I think the part that can trip
Yeah.
some people up is knowing when it gives you what kind of aircraft is picking it up, knowing what kind of spacer you need, and
Yeah, the space
The
part,
knowledge, the knowledge
if
can
it's
really
a
help you out
medium
there.
clevis or
But I feel like
Or a large one or a small one.
Yeah,
and
the
then,
size of the load too, right?
Right, because when they were explaining that in class, that's the part when I was like,
that's
I don't even know what you just said, but I'm just gonna write it down. So the step-by-step outside hands-on portion was easy, but the in class it was just like I have no
It's
idea
complicated,
what you
so.
just said, but I'm just gonna write it down.
M1120 trailer, a lot shorter of a sequence.
Much
How do
easier.
you guys feel about that? Much easier, right? I've never heard of anyone really feeling that
I
one.
think the big thing that gets people on there is the safety latches that hold the trailer bed up, or the trailer.
The brakes in the front? Oh, the latches?
Oh, the
The
door
latches that hold
latches?
the door up.
Yeah.
I feel like people will skip over those.
Yeah, because of the way he kept going over them, like,
Mhm.
it's like, hey, take this free
Yep.
chicken over here, you know?
That
Yeah.
and then
Yeah.
His little signal,
yeah,
that
Yeah,
thing that was,
that's
I was
cool.
like,
That was
oh,
nice.
that's
phase 2
the-
gang sign.
Mhm.
It's again, so-
Oh yeah, the thing.
Yeah.
That helped out. I was like, oh,
It
that
did.
makes sense.
That's what they do in Pathfinder school as well to guide aircraft.
Then we finished. We have the weekend now. We're off, and we have the 4-mile run
Oh,
on Monday.
and we got a cadet doing the guide on for the 4 mile.
Oh yeah, who?
Yeah.
Well,
Me.
oh you?
Obviously.
you-
obviously.
They don't
Okay.
know me. They don't know me.
Kill it. You don't know me, son.
You don't know me, son.
Formation run.
Yeah,
18
no, it should be
minutes.
No
fine.
ruck.
I think they're gonna call cadences, and it's super slow. So
9
should be
minute,
fine.
9 minute mile pace.
4
You
mile.
think
What
you
does he
can
call it?
keep
He called it the 4x36.
4x36.
That's an insane amount of time.
That should be easy.
That's
I
Yeah,
mean,
Yeah.
that's too, yeah.
I don't
And-
think anyone. If people complete the ruck, I think they'll be fine. On
I
this.
think so.
Yeah.
Drink a lot of alcohol.
Water. Drink a lot of water for the 4-mile run. It's Mother's Day on Sunday. If you could sum up real quick how it is that you hear from the Air Force and what's that process like? What's it like learning all this Army stuff? The Army song, the Soldier's Creed, the 101st Division song.
Honestly, like we have a good prep, and we have a few guys that have been already through the course that are from our base. So they give us like a whole assessment. They make sure we're good to go. We can do the 12-mile runs. We do. We get all of our gear prepped, but we send only about like a couple people during the quarter. So probably like 6 during the year.
You're the only one here who's not in the Army, right?
Right, so that was the only. I was a little nervous. I come in here, I was like, "Geez," because this is the first time I've ever been to an actual Army like class. I've been on plenty of Army bases, but I've never done full-on Army class. So I was like, and they said like, "Hey, make sure you're ready," and I was like, "Oh man!" Like, Air Force is just very like, if you forget something, like in the Air Force, they're like, "Oh, okay, don't worry about it. Like you're good." And then they're like, "Oh, at Air Assault, like you could not forget anything." So we went through everything, like
Which is true. I mean,
Right.
They didn't overblow it. Like on the, it was probably like 15 people on day 1 got dropped.
Do you think it was
Right.
overhyped how strict and Army it is here?
No, I think it was pretty like a little like overhyped, and just the way where like they what was it for the gear? So they told us like, hey, all your pockets have to be buttoned, That's what they told me. So I was like, oh crap. So every single night,
I was
all
expecting
my
that too.
knees were buttoned, zipped up, like perfectly folded. They didn't really care about that. People just had their stuff just tossed. But they did. I mean, they were serious about exactly like, you need this item, this item, this item. But overall, I mean, it's been pretty easy, at least from the Air Force side. Like, as long as you're like physically in shape and just attention to detail, that was kind of it.
Yeah.
I think Fort Campbell's Air Assault School is probably the easiest one.
Yeah.
I think if Fort Benning is definitely the hardest.
So you feel Fort Benning is harder?
Fort Benning's the hardest by far.
Oh, really?
From what I've heard.
I mean, I had some people who failed it at Camp Blanding in Florida a few years ago, and then they picked up on another phase in Benning and passed there.
I mean, at the end of the day, it's
Well,
the
I just
same
wanted to
curriculum. So everyone says this is easier, this is tougher, and everyone contradicts each other.
Well, that was the end of day 3. We have the weekend, and then we continue on to phase 2 next week. So, all right, welcome back to Monday, May 15th, day 4 of Air Assault. We just had the weekend. Just chilled here at the hotel. Nothing much studying. Today, this morning, what time did we show up?
05:45.
05:45 for the 4-mile formation run, the 4x36. It was really fun.
Best formation run I've had.
It was easy money. We form it up, 4 ranks. They say all NCOs to the left, and we start calling cadence. The NCOs ran out of cadences, so I hopped out. I called the cadence. Cadet had the guide on. I was happy to see that. It was easy. Cadet takeover. 2 miles down, 2 miles back, passing other formations in the morning on the run. It was smooth. I wasn't tired on the way back, or like when we got back. We did lose a cadet, unfortunately, so now we're 39 out of 40. 2.
One walk on.
A walk on? Yeah, so we're 39 out of 40 from our group. And we just had to stand there in formation for a little bit while the ambulances finished doing their thing. But that was that. Then we got released for breakfast, came back, and we went straight to working on clean loads. We were on the 5K net, right? And then
5K cargo net,
and then the Humvee. How to rig it and then how to inspect it. 5K is easy money.
I think it's
They're not that bad.
I think it seems a lot easier than what everyone says.
Yeah, and the Humvee, I mean, it's a big thing. Apparently it gets people, but everything is mirrored. So if it looks one way on one side, it should look that way on the other side. And if it's not, then that's how you know. And then from there, we just broke up into even 4 groups, and we just worked on everything. The A22, the 5K, the Humvee, and the trailer. I mean, they all seem pretty easy to include the A22, but apparently that's the most casualty-producing one. I don't know why. I mean, I guess we'll find out tomorrow, because tomorrow's our late man day. We're going to be there till 9 p.m. working on it with deficiencies, because today was all clean loads. I felt good about it, like everything.
I feel confident going in tomorrow. I think with a little practice, most of us should be fine.
Yeah.
You guys have on your mind more that test or the written test?
Written right now.
Written for now, I guess.
For now, we're safe till Wednesday.
There's gonna be a lot of stuff on the written test that we don't even have to test over physically.
Right.
People forget that, and that's what gets a lot of people.
We're just gonna keep going over the Quizlets and the book, and that's all we got. And then tomorrow's our only time to focus on the hands-on portion. And tomorrow's our latest formation. Be there at 7:45. It's usually 5:45 because we're gonna be there till 9 p.m. That was day 4. See you tomorrow on day 5. Alrighty, welcome back to Air Assault School day 7. Today is May 18th. I know I didn't make a video for day 5 because that was the day that we had our late man, which is when they let us stay there until like 2100, getting hands-on with the sling loads to study as much as we can. So my whole group, we took full advantage of that, and then came back to the hotel and studied until like 11 p.m. for the written test, because yesterday, day 6 in the morning, we had our phase 2 written test. We had to get 35 out of 50 questions, which is 70%, and I think 39 out of 40 of us passed that. I did. That one was easy. So then we moved on to the sling loads yesterday. First we go through the A22 cargo bag, then the 5K cargo net, then the trailer, then the Humvee. I lined up for the A22 and I no-go'd that. Then I moved on to the 5K cargo net. That one is kind of given. The trailer was easy, and then the Humvee actually managed to find 4 out of 4 deficiencies. Out of the whole class, which I have to say is about like maybe 220 by now, I think 60 people no-go'd something yesterday, and then out of those 60, I'd say about maybe 40 no-go'd the A22 cargo bag. Then for all the people who no-go'd, they sent us over to the bleachers to wait for everybody to go through for their first time, and then all the people who had to retest got like
30 minutes to get hands-on with whatever they needed to retest on again, and then they let us go again. And then I did the A22 cargo bag for the retest, and then I missed it again, so I got dropped from the course today. As you can see, I have everything packed because I'm heading out in about an hour, but I'm working on trying to get reinserted, hopefully at Fort Benning. May 22nd is when a course there starts, or I would have to come back here June 2nd. So I'm not sure how that's going to go. Kind of messes up some family things I had going on this summer, but I'll work around it because I really want to get through this. I can't go out like this. So stay tuned and let's see where I end up. Alright, good evening. I have updates. It is now May 27th. I am at Fort Benning / Moore, Georgia. I have been reinserted to phase 2 here. I could explain the whole reinsert process at another time. I came here yesterday. We just finished doing sling loads about an hour ago because we had a late man tonight, and we're having a late man tomorrow. So that's one thing that's different and better about Campbell, better than Campbell, because we only had one late man at Campbell. Name and school, go.
Oh, it's already going? Okay. Kenneth Nunian, NSU.
Thank you. She's from my battalion. I reinserted. It's now day 4. We did the 4-mile run this morning, so I have to do the 4-mile run again, and that's no issue. Something that I learned about being dropped and now being here is make sure you have a sequence. We have no weekends off here. Oh, the other update. I'm no longer in a bougie hotel room, obviously. I'm in a barracks, so the lighting is an issue. Name and school.
My last name.
Yes.
Oh, Eduardo.
School.
USF.
Okay.
University of South Florida.
How do you feel about the sling loads from today?
It was good. It was like a lot of information, like everything here, but like it's doable. We just need practice, which we got. It's just like we just need to practice. I feel like most people
You feel confident?
Like me personally?
Yeah.
I don't want to say confidence. I feel like, after pride comes a fall. You can't be overconfident. I feel good with what I learned. I don't want to say confident. I be praying, I be practicing, and I just be executing, I guess.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yes, sir.
Mission first. Cool. That's all for today. I'll see you guys tomorrow on day 5, version 2 for me. Welcome back to Sunday, May 28th, day 5 of Aerosol School at Fort Moore, Georgia. It is 23:04. It is 11:04 p.m. And tomorrow we have our phase 2 written test and our phase 2 sling load test, A22 cargo bag, 5K cargo net, Humvee, and trailer. We spent the entire day in and out of classes. What is it? Today we had our first late wake up at 7:15 a.m. We started class at 8 a.m. Half the platoon went inside to play Jeopardy in regards to the questions that are going to be in the written test. The other half of the class was outside on the sling loads doing, they told us they were going to be dirty loads. So we went in there with the mindset that we were looking for deficiencies. And then after a while we realized all the loads were still clean. So it kind of freaked everybody out when they couldn't find any deficiencies. It was a good psychology trick that they did on us. And then they kept switching us back and forth to the classroom and to the loads to play Jeopardy or to check the clean loads. And then eventually they did do the dirty loads. I feel a lot better than I did at Campbell. I found a lot more of the deficiencies here than I did over there. I got 5 out of 5 on almost all of them today. On the real test, we only have to find 3.
I went in with the mindset of I was going to just look for the dirty loads. As soon as they said it was going to be dirty loads, I was like, okay, I have to find what's wrong instead of seeing what's right. So tomorrow, I'm definitely going to just look for a clean load, and then the wrongs are going to stick out because I know it's right.
So you know what right looks like.
So I know what right looks like, yeah.
And if it doesn't look right, then it's wrong, and we know what it looks like. I think everybody was stressing in the morning. Today humbled a few people because we only did clean loads yesterday, so they thought they were good. And then today we got to the dirty loads, and they learned.
Yeah.
We had our
very attention to detail. You really have to be paying attention.
Very much attention to detail. We did our late man today again. Yesterday, I think they released us at 8, and we were able to stay till 9. Today was the same thing. They released us at 8, and they let us go by 9:20. Her and I were the last ones to stay, so we closed the bar today. They said, aerosol, go home, and we took off. Tomorrow, Information's at 5, test is at 5:30. So once we got released from the loads just now, everybody came, showered, and studied. We've been out here. Where the flashcards at? We've been out here going over the flashcards nonstop that she made, which are amazing, and the book. And we've been quizzing ourselves, and we're pretty good and confident for tomorrow. I am confident for the written. How do you feel about the written?
I am not confident for the written. I know the material, but it's just I'm very bad at numbers, and I'm also a terrible test taker. So it's very, I had to retake the phase 1 test, and when I got my test back, I was reading over each question. I was like, wow, that was like really stupid. I didn't read the question properly, or this and that. Like, I know the material, it's just reading each question, and you have an hour. So I'm definitely going to use that whole hour, because this whole phase 2 is a lot of numbers, and you don't want to miss the numbers because they will switch the numbers. So if it's like 38.75, or they could make it 83.57, you have to know what's correct.
The written for me, I mean, I already passed it at Fort Campbell, so this was kind of like a refresher, but at the same time, I don't know how different it would be here at Moore than at Campbell. Based off of all the notes, I've studied other people's flashcards, I've read the book with other people. I didn't do the Campbell Quizlet this time, I did last time at Campbell, and that's what helped. But here, I've just been doing the flashcards with her in the book, and I've been getting almost everything right, so I feel pretty confident. Everything that's highlighted is the things that they went over in class, which is the things that they said we need to know. So I feel good. I wasn't too stressed about it because I know I passed it before, but again, can't get complacent. And then on to actual hands-on. I mean, like you said, attention to detail, look for know what's right so you know when it's wrong. That's how I'm going into this too. So we're making it through day 6 tomorrow. Yes. Was it 23:09 now? In like 24 hours or earlier, I will hopefully have an update with good news.
Hopefully here.
Hopefully here.
Hopefully we're sleeping here.
Here. We're sleeping here tomorrow night, not at the crib. All right. So that's it. Because if you get dropped here, they send you back the same day. But that's not gonna happen. It's not gonna happen. So we got it. All right. Cool. See you guys tomorrow, day 6. All right. Monday, May 29th, 9:30 a.m. At the moment, day 6 of Air Assault School here at the lovely Fort Moore, Georgia. So, what did we do? Today, force formation was at 5. We started testing at 5:30 for the phase 2 written test. 35 out of 50 questions, having to score a minimum of 70% is what you need to pass. C's get degrees, all right? So, we did the test. We had an hour on the clock, and I feel like I knew most of the stuff because I spent all of last night and the past few days studying with Cadet Snoonian, who was still out there testing. And then we went outside, waited in formation, and then they called us all back inside. They handed us our grade sheet. Everybody started getting excited because they passed, including me, obviously. We went over the answers, made sure they were right. And then we formed up by roster number. So it started off with the people who reinserted having to go out to the sling loads first. So out of this entire class of 200 and plus people, I was the very first person to go because we have 3 reinserts, Alpha 1, Bravo 2, Bravo 3, I'm Bravo 2, and there's multiple pads. So I went through first, I was the first one done. A22 cargo bag, like butter, had that in less than a minute, redeemed myself. That was my second one. I started with the trailer. Trailer was easy. Went over to the Humvee. Again, they're in your face, yelling at you, all the deficiencies. And then I went over to the 5K cargo net. That was done. Less than a minute, less than 45 seconds. They tell you go to the black hats at the desk, hand them my scorecard, all goes. Whole thing was done in basically like 7 minutes. All of them. Then they just tell me be back here outside of the classroom at 1400, and I'm released till then. And that was an hour ago. It's 9:30 now. So I'm redeemed. Everybody else is out here hanging out, checking their packing list, eating their breakfast MRE. I'm just waiting on Cadet Snoonian to come back. I know she's gonna pass it. And everybody else is just taking a nap. Like, I'm here in the field, and this guy just wanted a nice place to relax and sleep with the birds, so he's out there. What's upcoming now is our phase 3 in brief later tonight after dinner chow, and then we should be getting our ropes for the Swiss seat for the rappel phase, and then we're going to spend the next 3 days rappelling. Day 9 will hopefully be out of a Blackhawk if it's available, which I heard it should be, and 12 mile ruck. So, highlight of the day, redeemed myself. I'm now in phase 3, the thing that I failed at Campbell. So that's it. See you guys tomorrow. Good evening. It is May 30th, 11:12 p.m., day 7 of Air Assault School. Name and school, go.
I'm Kai Marchani from UPR Mayagüez, stayed in Puerto Rico.
So, this morning we had formation at 06:15, and then we got demos on the hookup procedure, the slant wall, and then the belay procedure. And then we had breakfast, and then we started actually executing the 10-foot slant wall, which is a wall that is at an incline, the 60-foot wall side rappel, and then the 60-foot open side rappel, where there's just hopping off a ledge and there's no wall. We did that open side 3 times. We did it Hollywood style, which is just you in uniform, Hollywood with brakes, which is they wanted to test our braking to stop in midair, and then semi-combat load, which is with a flick and weapon.
So in my opinion, I never rappelled before. They gave us like a quick, brief explanation, but it had the details needed, so you knew what to do, like every step by step. For me, the wall, first time went horrible. I almost went sideways. Second time I kind of got it. It was the brakes. My brake hand was not extended fully, but second time I got it better. When I went to the open side, the Hollywood, the first time it was pretty difficult to lock in, but as soon as I got the brake hand where it was supposed to be needed in the back, I acted on it and made it happen. I was so nervous. I never rappelled, and I'm kind of afraid of heights.
By the last one, I was like robotic with it. That was basically it. And then we got released. I don't remember what time. But since then, everybody has just been practicing for the 2 tests we have tomorrow, which is our 15-second hookup procedure and our 90-second creating a Swiss seat test. So everybody's just been in the barracks, tying their ropes to their bed, and tying their Swiss seat. We have people in front of us right now practicing their Swiss seat at 11:15. Major safety violations can get you dropped. And this has retest?
It has a retest.
For both. Formation tomorrow's at 06:30. We're getting right into it because supposedly there's a big storm coming, so they're trying to get us out before 1400 so we can actually finish the testing. That's it for today, day 7. We'll see what happens tomorrow, day 8. Today is May 31st. It is 1800, and today was day 8 of Air Assault School. This morning we had formation at 06:45, and then we did a few demos, practice rounds, and then we went straight into our 90-second hip rappel seat test and our 15-second hookup test, which I was kind of paranoid for, but we both passed.
I was nervous for the hookup test just because the gloves they give us are so big.
Yeah.
But it was fine.
I was getting it down to like 110. The cadet that was in the video for last night unfortunately got dropped today on the 90-second test, so he'll be heading home tomorrow. After that, we went straight into our tested 3 open wall jumps. It was a droppable event if we tied our rope the wrong way or if we had a major safety violation like we didn't hook in. So I was super paranoid every time I had to retie the seat again because we lost 5 more people to that. We were at the top of the tower and we saw people doing the walk of shame.
Yeah, I flipped over and then I had too much slack in the beginning. And then my belay man wasn't paying attention and got my rope twisted with the rope next to me, and I was stuck in a brake position for like 30 seconds. Air assault sergeants were yelling.
They were on the ground underneath her, running around with the 2 ropes to try to untangle her, and then eventually she made it all the way down, of course. So we didn't get dropped today. We got our in brief and our instructions on how to jump out of the helicopter tomorrow because that's what we'll be doing. So we'll be jumping out of 90 to 120 feet, depending on the pilot. Again, the Swiss seat is droppable and so are major safety violations. But they told us today with the instructions for the helicopter that was our last block of instruction.
He said it's going to be difficult, especially since you're up that high. The helicopters can't just stay still, so it's going to be moving a little bit, and then the rope behind you is about 200 feet. So you got to pull all that weight, so you're going to have to put your brake hand all the way back. And I think it's going to be difficult, especially for smaller people to hold on to that rope real tight.
Yeah, it'll be a hectic like 20 seconds of your life, and then it's over. And then we have done no jumps with the ruck. Thought we were going to today. We're not even doing it tomorrow, so that's already out of the question. We're gonna do that. They're gonna be selling hot dogs and shirts, and then the only thing standing between us and the badge is the ruck and the layout. And that is it. We will see you tomorrow after day 8. Air Assault School, day 9, 2049. It is June 1st. Today, formation at 7 a.m. to go jump out a helicopter. Here's that video. Fun. I mean, marched over to the airfield. The Blackhawks were already there. 4-man front. They sent us up 8 at a time. 4 sitting down, 4 hooking up, and then Rappel Master sends you off, and then you jump out as such. Once you jump, you wait off to the side, wait for the bird to touch back down. Then you will replace the rope man who's holding the excess. The rope man will replace the belay man who was belaying, of course. That first belay man will then be done for the day, and then the cycle will continue until everyone has gone. We did that. We marched back to our compound, and they were selling shirts like such, the air assault wings. This is what the black hats wear, and then they also had tan versions of it for like 20-ish bucks each one. Then 2 hot dogs, bag of chips, and some drinks for like 10 bucks total. We ate, turned in our ropes with our carabiners and our gloves. Then we went straight into graduation rehearsal, 12-mile ruck brief, and we got released for the day around, I'd say, 1500. And we've just been hanging out. Everybody's been prepping their rucks. I just finished doing my layout. Tomorrow we have our first formation at 02 a.m. at the PT area, and then 12-miler. We're gonna get 3 turnaround items, and then we do the layout, and then we are released until graduation. So that is it for today. I'll check in with you tomorrow. All right, good afternoon. Today is Saturday, June 10th, 2023. I'm back home in Miami, great state of Florida. So we formed up at 02 to step off for the ruck, and the ruck route there at Fort Moore compared to Fort Campbell is polar opposite, because at Fort Moore it is nothing but hills. You're either going straight up or you're going straight down. Good thing is that it's mostly pavement. There's only one small section of it that is tank trails. I think we only lost maybe like 5 people. I remember there was one when we were getting closer to the 3-mile turnaround. Once I had already passed it, I saw this guy on the other side with the pace man right behind him, and he was yelling at him that you need to pick it up, air assault. There's 9 more miles to go. He didn't make it, unfortunately. But other than that, we finished the 12-miler and went straight into our layout. One difference between Campbell and Fort Moore is that at Moore, they actually smoked us in between the items because people kept reaching down to grab it before they said execute, execute, execute. Other than that, everybody passed the layout, and the big question is, did I pass? Right here you go. Air assault qualified, baby. So the turnaround items on the 12-mile ruck was at the 3-mile, we got a wooden popsicle stick. Mine was painted black. At the 6-mile turnaround, they gave us like a Powerade bottle. And then at the 9-mile turnaround, we actually got our wings to motivate us to do the last stretch. Having done air assault school at 2 different locations, I think I'm the most qualified one to answer this question. But Fort Campbell or Fort Moore, I'm gonna say Fort Moore all the way. Probably because it was ran by a National Guard. It was a lot smoother. Not that it was easier, but I feel like I actually learned a lot more at Fort Moore than I did at Campbell. They actually take the time to make sure everyone learns. They explain things slow. They repeat everyone's question. They make sure everyone has a chance to go through on the equipment. And also there's a lot more equipment at Fort Moore than at Fort Campbell. As of the time I'm making this video, one small example is that we had 8 A22 cargo bags to practice on at Fort Moore compared to just 3 for way more students at Fort Campbell. So I could go on and on about the differences. There was a lot of good things about Fort Campbell too, but if I had to rank them, Fort Moore takes the lead. I'm pretty grateful for the experience of having been able to test the waters in 2 different air assault schools, so now I can better prepare and explain the differences to others that may come to me in the future that tell me that they're about to go to air assault school. But even though it sucked in the moment of getting dropped, it was a great experience. I got to meet a lot of people. Oh, and the badge still looks the same. Other than that, I know this video's been going on for a while, so make sure to like and subscribe. And if you have any questions, make sure to hit me up on Instagram or down in the comments below. So, peace.